Welcome back, Heal Squad. We are here in our East Coast studio from Connecticut. We promised yesterday that we would talk about radical remission, so that's what we're going to do today. But first, let's have our Dunkin' break. Because I'm going to say right now that my life has turned around very quickly because of my iced coffee. I haven't had an iced coffee in a while, I feel like. And Kelsey's got some new music to go with our Dunkin'. And I'm happy about it because it's going to be a really great day because I'm declaring it. I already feel great. This Dunkin' iced coffee is making me feel great.
Yeah.
So, guys, it's 100% Arabica. Do we remember how to say
Arabica.
Arabica coffee. And you can have it prepared any way you like. I have a splash of almond milk in this sucker. It is smooth. It is flavorful. It is delicious. It feels like a treat. Now, if you don't know, I quit sugar in October. Now, I didn't quit sugar like in the extreme way.
Right.
I quit desserts, no sweets, nothing. Not a zilch, like not a Thanksgiving, not a Christmas, nothing.
So so not on the nose, because sugar means, sugar's in so many things.
Yes.
But you're just going to say the obvious things.
Yes, because my A1C levels were creeping up. And how did I find out my A1C levels were creeping up? Oh, because I actually went to the doctor and got a physical.
Was that a slide at me? Hey, I have on Thursday now, thanks to you.
You and everyone else
Excuse me.
who does not.
And we're going to do some treatments, right? We're doing some. Kelsey and I, we're on it.
So my point is, Kev, is every time I talk to a young female,
Right.
Oh,
they do not get their annual physicals.
no.
It's
And
true.
so I am beating them verbally to get this done.
Good
So
idea.
Kelsey is actually getting it done this week. I'm very excited and very proud.
And I would like to add too, you're not just beating me and being like, okay, go figure it out. I mean, you're also offering, okay, this is because I told you, and I think a lot of people in my position feel the same way. It's like, especially when you move to a new state, I don't know who to go to. I don't really trust many doctors. I don't really like many doctors. So it's really hard to find one. So you were like, hey, I love my doctor. Here you go. Call them. So you weren't just like, screw you, get your physical. You were like, let me hook you up and help you.
No, I know. Well, that's the thing is we always have to go off referrals for everything.
Yeah.
Doctors too.
Yeah, so Maria, that's a good question for you. What do? You go to a new city. How do you find a good doctor? Can you go to Yelp? We like to find, Steven found a great mechanic for us years ago on Yelp. Like we went to all the reviews and he's been with me ever since. What do you do for a doctor?
The only way I have found, I'm not an expert, is word of mouth and talking to people. Now that led me down a wrong path. If you recall, remember when I was at Channel 1, they're like, oh my God, everybody goes to Dr. Bleep. And that was not a good experience.
Uh-oh.
It was pretty traumatizing. We'll leave it at that. I think I mentioned it on Howard Stern once, and that's the most I ever want to talk about it again. So,
Maria, you're having a hard
Honey,
time bending your
shut.
finger? Strip down.
honey, shut up.
We'll get to the bottom of this.
Steven's crying, laughing. Yeah.
That's awful.
Yeah, I definitely have had my share of traumatic doctor appointments. However, the point is a referral is always the best. And then you go and you try people out and you feel if you have a good fit, a good connection. I ended up with Dr. Aaronin at UCLA because of a recommendation. And when I went to him, it was the first time I'd gone to him. And that's when it kind of hit me that I had a brain tumor. And he was wonderful because he was like, let's get it checked, where a lot of people will tell you you're crazy. So everybody just go to Dr. Aaron at UCLA.
No, we have to find, I don't know.
But you know what I think we can do with the Heal Squad? Here's why the Heal Squad's so amazing, is we can put an Instagram post together and everyone in your state post who you go to that you love so that other people in your state that's in the Heal Squad can say, I love this person. Now you have someone that's referring you that's part of our crew. And listen, everyone's different and you're going to have a different connection with different people. I generally do not go to guys. I've had a lot of bad experiences. However, Dr. Aaron happens to be a man and he's an awesome man and I feel very comfortable with him and safe.
Right.
So you will feel safe too, because trust me, if I feel safe and I don't feel safe with anybody, then you will feel safe too. Yeah. So I think that's the best way to do it. So we'll post something and you guys can share who you go to and who you love, and that will help other people.
Yeah, I really like that. I really like that. And I think that will get the ball rolling on our our steps towards getting that, like those state people we want to have, like our state super heal squad leaders, that it's like, oh, okay, if you live in Oregon and you need not just a doctor, but like a dentist or like
acupuncturist,
anyone.
Yeah, I really want to create this community for
too.
us where we can all help each other.
I mean, dentist is so important too, Marie.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of
Shout out to Dr. Fugier.
yeah.
Hey, Dr. Fugier.
Hey, Dr. Fugier. I love him. Anyway, I think that's something that everybody has to make sure, because also you want like baselines, right? So you want to know where your blood work is this year so that in like 3 years, if something's a little off, we can look back. You've got to have baselines on things. So you have to take it seriously. And here's the thing that everybody always says, I'm just scared. I don't want to know anything. Well, trust me, you want to know it now before it's a huge problem that you really are going to suffer with later.
Yeah.
Catch it early
Yeah.
so that you can take the steps that you need to fix it. So, and then if you ever get some horrible diagnosis, then you read Radical Remission and you talk about it like we're about to. But we haven't finished our Dunkin' break, because guess what, guys?
We're still there.
we have the amazing iced coffee, but guess what? I've got my stuffed bagel bites, which I will not torture you and eat on the air right now, but you know this is my crack.
And you and Keven both have them. Keven has plain.
Stuffed bagel minis. They are so delicious. They're mushy. They come out warm. They're just little pops in your mouth as you're driving. No more driving with your knee and trying to put the cream cheese on as you're rushing to work.
Honey, we don't want to.
I didn't do that, but I've watched people.
Me, I know. They're hard on the outside, soft on the middle, and then but it is convenient, because that's the one thing. Who wants to be either buttering a bagel or cream cheesing bagel, or even if it is, it tends to kind of get all over you.
Yep.
Whereas these,
Pop them in your mouth.
Clean,
Steven, do you
neat.
have the bagel bites right now?
I didn't, but I tried them the other day, and oh my god,
Oh, look at Steven's background. Epic.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, I have to have the donut background.
I wish
I've
I could
been
have a
made to
donut
feel bad
background.
about donuts for the last 3 minutes, and now I really need to eat more donuts.
Yum. Okay, well.
Remember when we made Jeff try and fit as many donuts in his mouth as possible?
Yeah. It was fun. Well, that is our Dunkin' break. Power through your 3 o'clock slump with some stuffed bagel bites, some Dunkin' iced coffee. Back to the whole point is I quit sugar.
Oh, right.
And so, because I haven't quit it completely, there are moments when I kind of want it, but I'm pretty good. Listen, you just take it step by step. It's been since October. I never thought in a million years I would be able to say no to sweets.
I mean, and let me just say, you quit cold turkey. Keven, we were going from like what are those apple cider donuts, like 3 a
6 a
week,
day.
and homegirl was having.
6 of them, which is
nothing.
why my A1C levels went out of this world.
Yes,
But
yeah.
I did quit it cold turkey. I'm very disciplined. When I say I'm done, I'm done.
Yep. No more chicken.
No more chicken.
and yet, like they say, 21 days. If you can give it 21 days, then usually it's kind of out of your
Yeah.
system, the taste of it.
But so when I want something sweet, actually a little tip, I do the rice cakes from Whole Foods, because they're crispier than the other ones, with some almond butter and some cinnamon.
So good.
So it's a nice little treat. I feel like that's
Throw
my
a
treat.
little banana on there.
Maria, will you have stevia and those things?
I don't like to do it, but lately I have thrown some stevia here and there just to kind of spice some things up. But yeah. Anyhow, order ahead on the app or get your Dunkin' delivered. America runs on Dunkin', so it is better together, and we are all better together. Radical Remission. So I was inspired to share this with you guys today in case you've never heard of the book. And funny enough, I feel like when someone is diagnosed with cancer, it's rare that they've done the work ahead, right? Preparing for anything like that. And so we always get the book after the fact. So I want to introduce you to the book now. Maybe there's someone in your life that has it. It is an incredible book, very inspiring, because this is a woman named Kelly Turner, the author, who had multiple people in her life that died from cancer. And she says that Western medicine couldn't save them. So she went on this journey. She went around the world for a year to ask all of these people who had radically survived, had radical remissions from stage 4 cancers, told they had months to live. She asked them one question: what did you do? And I said to Kelsey, I go, what's always shocking to me? when people say, wow, your mom has really just beaten all the statistics, right? It'll be 5 years in August. So it's well past 4.5 years now.
Insane. When the doctors told you what, 7 months?
They didn't actually, my doctors were amazing. They never said anything. And I never read anything. I knew stage 4 brain cancer was bad.
Right.
I was like, I didn't need to know how bad in that moment because I was already inconsolable.
Yeah.
I didn't want to read the statistics because I also didn't want my mom to be a statistic. Right. So I purposely never read anything. And so until way, 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 way later. But so I'm always surprised that people never wanted to know, like, hey, what did we do with my mom? Because we didn't just use Western medicine, right? Like, my mom is the best doctors in the world. Dr. Black, Dr. Rudnick, Dr. Aaronin, like now, I mean, we really have been blessed. I sought out the best and have been so lucky. Dr. Merhadi. And so.
But you interviewed multiple people.
But I did do my research.
Because we learned about it. A lot of people want to actually operate, I mean, so
yeah,
it's a job and it's money for them. And so a lot of people, you can, you have to pick the right people, and you did.
We interviewed people, and there were people that were super qualified and super amazing.
Yep.
But my mom ultimately had to pick, and she felt safest with Dr. Black.
Yeah.
I so it's her decision.
I knew he was the guy, but
we always knew. But anyway, the point is that, I'm always surprised people don't want to know more about what we did to try to replicate the success. Us as patients, family members are always trying to reach out like, what did you guys do? What did you guys do?
Yeah.
But the medical community doesn't.
Yeah.
So Kelly Turner did that. She went around the world. She interviewed all these patients or former patients and said, what did you do? And she found these 9 common threads. Now, it's still a hypothesis. Nothing is studied truly, right? And we don't know, even with my mom, what really worked, right? Because when you have a terminal diagnosis, you start throwing the kitchen sink for the most part at it, right? So her radiologist, Dr. Merhadi, told me probably about a year ago, he goes, I'm firmly convinced that her success has been based on the immune optimization you guys did in Mexico. Because he has never seen that kind of thing happen, I guess, or done. And he's like, there's just no other explanation for, they just don't see this very often.
I think it was also the diet and the Optune, personally.
I think it was just
everything.
A combination of everything, right? The chemo works for her. It really does. And what we did was we worked so hard to counter the negative effects of the chemo so that it didn't kill, not kill her, it didn't just totally deplete her and destroy her.
Yeah.
We would lift her with the immune support. So
Maria, before you go any further, I think the important thing I want to say before you get into the 9 steps is that most people are not proactive. So the medical community is so overwhelmed that they're not taking these steps. But most of the people themselves, yes, you deal with some people who say, what did you do? And God bless them. But a lot of people, Maria, like the average person, thinks they're helpless, thinks the medical community has all the answers, and they just sit and kind of wait. I can't tell you how many families I knew going through cancer. It was just waiting. Like we hear from the doctor in 2 weeks, and so you really it starts with you being proactive. And that's because you were just saying, like, I don't understand how people, I think most people are just trained to just deal with problems as they come. They don't anticipate. They're not looking ahead.
Well, also, we're trained to just lay our care in someone else's hands. And that's where Dr. Oz was great this week, too. And I regret actually not going deeper into that with him, because we went into COVID and all the other stuff. It's hard sometimes with guests because there's so many things you want to do with them and you only have a certain amount of time. But I think being your own advocate and doing your own research is so important because the medical community is also handcuffed by what they can suggest and what they can do, whether it's lawsuits or things aren't FDA approved or they don't have enough studies. And so when you're in a terminal situation, it's kind of like, in my mind, all bets are off. You got to just try shit, but you got to do it carefully and you got to do it methodically. And that's what I think we did. I did collaborate with my mom's doctors and say, okay, So what things would be off the table? Here's what Mexico would do. What would you feel uncomfortable with? Because I don't want to do what you're uncomfortable with. And so we work together. And I think that, it's you've got to find that collaboration with people. So Kelly Turner, and this is just so important for people because so when I coach families who are newly diagnosed with glioblastoma or even a meningioma, I had 2 new people just this past weekend that I spent time with. The thing I always tell them is there's some reading you need to do. First of all, you got to read Radical Remission. I also suggest Anita Moorjani's book, Dying to Be Me. And then I say, watch the Heal documentary. Yeah. So the Heal documentary goes into some of the stuff that Radical Remission does, which is really kind of looking at the emotional part of this and the spiritual part of this. There's a lot of healing that needs to be done that's not just physical when it comes to cancer, in my mind. And you'll see it's supported through what, Kelly Turner's research and even Heal in the documentary. You get to see it's a 360 approach, right? You can't just drink green juices and think it's going to get better. There's stuff that you're harboring inside that you need to get out. You need to purge those emotional things, those traumas. You need to forgive. You need to quit things. There's all kinds of stuff. So we're going to dive deep into Kelly Turner's 9 Steps of Radical Remission. We are going to get her on the show at some point.
Yep.
But what I like about this is it's kind of an intro to it. And we're in the midst of one with my mom right now. My mom is doing so much better.
It's insane.
It is blowing all of our minds.
It's amazing.
Like we'll go into her room and then we come out and we're like, what the fuck? Huh? What?
Truly.
And in a week.
Yeah.
And I have video. Actually, maybe we share the video. I'll show you guys. Okay, we'll start with this.
Okay.
So, because this is the impetus for this. This is why I wanted to talk about radical remission, because as you know on the show, I've been talking about how we all shifted from, what people were saying was happening with my mom and what I wanted to happen. Now, if you study the laws of the universe and you study Ask and It Is Given and all of this stuff, you have to calibrate to the solution, not the problem. You have to calibrate to the desire, right? What you want. And so I want a miracle for my mom. So I'd rather calibrate to that and focus on that than all of this. Now, we had our moments where it looked horrible and we were crying, but then I would pick myself up and say, okay, no, I want a miracle. I believe in a miracle. We would have our chats at night with Keven. Sometimes I'd have to purge for a few minutes and then I would shift my energy and I'm like, but I believe she can be a miracle. I believe she's going to have it. I know this sounds insane, but that's what I feel.
Is there any harm in believing that, Maria?
No, it's free.
It's free. And you know what?
And it's freeing because I'd rather focus on that than focus on all the shit, the other stuff.
I want to just give you guys props too, because being there last weekend to film, when my uncle and my grandparents passed away, it was such a somber thing. Anytime we were dealing with working with them or talking to them, it's such a somber moment. And it's I'm there at your house and blasting music. It's like a celebration kind of thing. Kostas is in the room dancing to the Greek, doing the traditional Greek dance while Lisa's in the bed. It's it didn't feel like a somber thing. It really felt like this is an energetic space where, somebody's going through something, but that doesn't mean that we have to have that be the focus.
Yeah.
Great point.
Totally. Well, why would we? It's not good for anybody. It's not good for her. So we bounce back on our Roku TV between the singing bowls on YouTube, the healing meditation sound bowls.
Sound bath, yeah.
The sound baths.
Yeah.
Is that against your religion?
Oh my God, honey, shut up.
Somebody asked that. Sorry.
We got to shut this off. Anyway, the sound bowls and the healing meditations, that there's actual music that has healing healing properties. So we go from that to Greek music where my mom is so happy and she's, loving it. And that's, I think that we shifted in this house very quickly into miracle mode. And then we started doing the energy work on her. And then we had this healing session with my Justice League of super healers, John, Patty, and Gabby. And ever since, I mean, the turnaround is so incredible. And it's really like something to marvel at. I don't know. I
Truly.
mean, Kev, really?
She has dragon's blood. Your mother, I mean, it's unbelievable.
She was
I
singing
mean, it's
this
not.
morning.
Remember, Matthew McConaughey said it's not unbelievable because it's happening.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's incredible.
Kev, she was singing.
Singing.
That we went from here. Let me paint the picture. So a week, 2 weeks ago, it was, she's in kidney failure. She's in organ failure.
She's an organ failure. She's dying.
This is it.
Literally, we were told.
This is it. She's dying. Everyone's crying, whatever. And I wasn't kind of crying at first. And then I was confused as to why I wasn't crying. So then I let my emotions out because I'm like, I don't know, everyone's going to look like I'm the weirdo, but I wasn't feeling it. Yeah. And then, you know, having to give her some morphine, right? So hospice gives you morphine. And so we've already pre-dosed them and little here and there when she was in
can
pain.
Can I tell you about the morphine, guys? That just haven't gone through this. Usually it's the hospital's nicest way of saying you just keep them out of pain, right? Mm-hmm. And usually they keep upping the morphine. And I swear to God, like when they're in the hospital, guys, and no one will tell you this, often they just OD them and let them go. Oof. Because they just know that they're, you know what I mean, when the cancer's all over the body and they're no longer able to poop or pee, like, they never tell you that, but I've just been there too many times. So usually when you hit the morphine stage, it's like, oh boy. And with Maria, now you take over from here rather than, you could have doped her up and just put her to sleep.
Yeah, so it was like the morphine, and then it was, she needed oxygen. She couldn't breathe. Yeah. She was doing the gurgles, like the gurgles that they, when you read the pamphlet, because they gave me the pamphlet, like the signs of like the end, and I was like, oh, I don't want to read this. But then I heard the gurgling and I'm like, oh shit, I got to see. And then I looked and the gurgling was in there and I'm like, and so we went from that to my mom singing, speaking in complete sentences, TMI, but I, you know, we were having a bladder issue. She was not going frequently. Like days would go by. Totally, and like, again, amazing.
When somebody has cancer all over the body, which she doesn't, it's usually a sign that the body's breaking down because it's no longer functioning. And so that's why we were told it's over.
To now, where we're all kind of like looking at each other being like, oh my gosh, I think we really are in the middle of like a miracle. This is insane.
And you know, she cracked up laughing yesterday, Maria. Oh, like, you know, she always had the little devil smile, but now she's like cracking up yesterday because when I said, no, Kelsey's a Viking. She can pick you up with me, which of course Kelsey did. Like, just picked her up like it was nothing. But she started cracking up.
Yeah.
She's like,
feeling my muscles.
Yeah. You need to feel Kelsey's muscles. She was like.
So anyhow, so here's the deal. So I'm going to show you guys. We're editing this together because I wanted to show you what a healing session can look like, because you can do them virtually, and you know, these are top healers that I am blessed to know and consider family, and they've been on the show before. Actually, we've never had Gabby come on to talk about the Clavi therapy.
You definitely need to.
I really need to set that, actually. So I'm going to show you guys a quick just vision of what this looked like. So it was me, Keven, my aunt actually wanted to be a part of it. So she was on the phone, on speaker.
I'm really proud of your aunt too for that.
Yeah. And so we'll show you a little bit of it and then we'll come back. We have this tumor we have to deal with. I figured if we all got together collectively to try to shrink the tumor, I know that even after reading Joe Dispenza's book, what's possible, and you guys know more than me what's possible because you do it every day. You heal people every day. So I feel like if we can together shrink this tumor and even focus on restoring her left side, whatever has been kind of traumatized by the tumor, I know we can make a huge difference right now. And I know that she's going to be a miracle. I truly believe that she's going to be a miracle. How do we do this, guys?
Coming together with just the right people in the right place at the right time. We have to have trust and love and hope and faith that this is exactly what needs to happen in this moment. And whatever her body can do or whatever is possible for her body, we will honor that. We will just do our best to assist her and so that she can feel that we truly are here with the intention of pure love.
I love it.
Your left hand on her temple.
On the side?
Just anywhere. You can move it around. You can pull your hand away, put it on it. You know, you start working intuitively, right? You've already been doing it. And then if you could put your other hand at her heart center, just above her heart center. So I want you to fluctuate between her immune system and her heart center. And then your dad on the other side.
Okay.
Yeah. And a nice light touch,
Okay. Light touch.
Light touch. So you can actually be off the body and on the body. You can even reach your hands up higher and then come down and then feel where you're feeling something saying stop.
Eyes, feel, sense a stream of white light and energy coming through her spine, down through her crown, washing down through her brain, washing down through her throat and her heart, through her solar plexus and her abdomen, all the way down to the pelvic floor, and then beginning to rise. Gently, easily, with peace, with total ease. Just rising back up through, bringing those higher energies and higher fields to integrate with the etheric or the life force energy in the body, just to activate, open, allow, and help, bring her all of her body's systems that she needs right now to bring vitality and life force to this body.
All right. We're going to share the entire video with you as soon as Steven can finish editing it. But Kevin, no, you're crying now. Wait till you see this whole video. Because I forgot. I asked my mom a question just randomly. We were having conversation. And so she said something so incredible in that moment. But, and then we'll show you the after effect. Like my aunt felt something through speakerphone. She goes, I just felt a complete shift. And this was the first time she had experienced anything like this, right? And Keven noticed it even before me, because I'm like just watching. I'm like, okay, probably won't feel anything till tomorrow. And literally, she just kept coming more and more to life to the point where she was like, I want pizza. And Keven had to go to Walgreens or Walmart to get DiGiorno's pizza.
Nothing was open. I'm like, pizza, I'm going to go right now.
He was so excited. He ran to get her pizza.
Because it was like, what, 11 o'clock at night?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll find pizza. And
normally she would have been out cold, exhausted. But, my goal is to show you guys what's possible. And there are healers everywhere. There are people that have studied how to use the gift of energy and all of it in wherever you are, but also they're available via Zoom and it does work. Our neighbor Norma was in the hospital with a massive infection in her jawbone. And I was chatting with her one night while she was in there. And I said, Norma, you're in so much pain. She's on morphine. She's on the heaviest drugs that they can give her. It wasn't relieving her. I said, okay, well, are you willing to try something? And so I said, just imagine like a vacuum sucking out the pain. And I want you to just keep doing that and keep doing that and keep doing. She came to me recently and she goes, it worked. She's like, I didn't believe in this. She's like, and I was sitting there doing it at first thinking I was silly, but I had nothing to do. I was alone in a hospital, so I did it and it worked. So that's why I share this. I share it because I'm seeing the results of it as I'm doing it in real time. And I want you to know what's possible for you too. Radical remission. And we can share the video from Kelly Turner really quick. I think you will get a better idea of that. And then we'll go through these 9 steps together.
Radical remission is when someone heals from cancer without any Western medicine or after Western medicine has failed. It actually happens more often than we think. Ten years ago, I was counseling cancer patients at a major cancer research hospital. And during my lunch break one day, I came across my very first case of radical remission and found that there are actually over 1,000 of these cases published in medical journals. The thing about those 1,000 cases is that they're simply medical reports. So no one has ever really asked these patients what they did to get better. And so that's what I did. I went back and got my PhD in cancer research, and I traveled the world for a year looking for as many radical remission survivors as I could find in order to ask them one simple question. Why do you think you healed? Since then, I've continued my research, and I'm very happy to share the results in my new book, Radical Remission, where I discuss the 9 key factors that radical remission survivors use in order to heal their cancer. These 9 factors include body, mind, and spirit interventions. Some of these you might expect, like changing your diet, whereas others were less obvious, like working with your emotions and your intuition. Each chapter includes the science behind the factor, a complete healing story from a radical remission survivor, and tips on how you can use these healing methods.
If you're listening in audio,
I wrote
there's a
this book for
graphic.
cancer patients and their loved ones. I want them to know that radical remissions do happen, and not by accident. If we're trying to win the war on cancer, we should learn from those who have already won.
Yes, queen.
Yes, Kelly.
It's true. So here are the 9 steps, guys. 1, the people that have seen success have radically changed their diet. That is something that we did with my mom. We completely cut out sugar, and that meant carbs. That meant, true sugar, processed. And I always say, like, be careful because the brain still needs glucose to work. Mm-hmm. So I had a, trial and error it. So I had to add some, low sugar fruits into her diet, but really giving the cancer nothing to live for. The second one is take control of your health, which I've talked about very, very frequently, and we've already talked about today. Following your intuition. We talk about that all the time. It's really, being your own advocate and really listening to what feels good inside of you. Using herbs and supplements, right? That's a lot of what we did in Mexico. There were a lot of herbs, a lot of supplements there too. Releasing suppressed emotions. That's why I always say, watch the Heal documentary. You'll see Diane Portia's work. We had Diane on the show a while back, but really getting to the core of the pains and the traumas that have, created a toxic environment inside of your body, and releasing that is so important. Increasing positive emotions. If you read Joe Dispenza's book, Dr. Joe Dispenza's book, he talks about how laughter is curing people of illnesses, right? So, laughing, the shit I say to my mom to make her laugh, the horrendously dark, dirty, obnoxious, whatever it is, I will say it to get a laugh, right?
True.
For
It's
both
true.
of their sake, my dad's, mine, my mom's, for all of us. Like, I'm just always like, we've had a rule in our house: comedy must rule at all times. So we laugh, and I think that's so important. There's this Greek TV show with this kind of like Jim Carrey meets Charlie Chaplin guy that we used to watch when we were younger, and now we are back to it because of YouTube. And she watches that, and we all laugh. And so laughter is real medicine. It really is. The 7th one is embracing social support. I believe that in the book, she talked about how a lot of these people had support groups so that they weren't alone in this. They knew other people that were dealing with this, and everybody kind of helped each other. Number 8, deepening your spiritual connection. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. And number 9, having strong reasons for living. I think that, I've seen people who get the diagnosis and they're like, that's it, it's over. And then they just go down the dark spiral. With my mom, when she was diagnosed, she just looked at the guy and she goes, okay.
Oh my gosh.
Literally
know that.
didn't even flinch. Looked at me. It was just me and her in the hospital. And I gulped. And it's still surreal to think about it. And then,
She
I was
is
like,
so strong.
okay, Mom, we're going to figure this out. Because that's all I could say. And at that point, I had already put together a flight to get her back to Los Angeles, to get her to the doctors that I wanted her to be under their care. And And so, yeah, she just knew. And it was funny when my family came to visit recently, my Aunt Helen said, she always would say, Maria's going to figure it out. Don't worry. And I'm like, she did? She's like, yeah. And I go, oh, cool. Well, glad I didn't know that then.
But she did also say, if this is it, this is it. Mm-hmm. Like, she's really strong. Like, my dad cried like a baby, and he was one of the toughest people I've ever met in my life, even with his fists. Your dad, every time your dad and I go to the doctors, his blood pressure goes through the roof, and he's another tough mofo. And yet, but your mom, like,
she the toughest.
I've never seen anyone face it like that and go, all right, well. But I think that number 9 is important. And notice, Mary, when we talk to her, I am always talking to her, so I'm always talking about the future. And I'm still talking to her about your business, what we're doing with your show. And today we're having Oz. We're going to cover this and that. Mm-hmm. We got all this great information. And, like, there are times where she's not processing everything because of her condition. But I'm always telling you it's very important for people to talk to her. Mm-hmm. And keep her mind going and keep her, like, not
stimulated.
Yeah, stimulated and not woe is me. Like, we're moving forward. Yeah, like, this is what we're excited about. And this is what's coming. And she gets excited when she hears it. And so with our caretakers, what I love is they've been the better ones. We had one in LA that wasn't, she wasn't very organized and she wasn't really into the medical, but she talked to your mom all day, and they would laugh and talk and gossip, and I had them watching Bachelor, and you know what I mean? And it was so important.
Yeah. I think it's easy to see someone who's bedridden, like, and see their eyes closed and be like, oh, they're sleeping. And then you go off and you go live your life. Yeah. But really, if you go in and you start talking, their eyes open up fast.
Oh, yeah.
And they want the stimulation and they want that attention. Yeah. And if they don't, they don't. But that's another little tip that I noticed.
Well, it's just like, why not try? Like you said, why not try?
Listen, again, I say, I don't know what the plan is, right? I have had some negotiations with God where I'm like, God, we really have an opportunity here.
We can help a lot of people.
Honey, this is really what I say. We really have an opportunity here. We could show people what's possible. And I know you create miracles. Like, can we have one and we can share everything we're doing?
I'm laughing more at your dad, though.
Why?
Because his negotiations.
I know. He gives everybody years off his life.
Yeah, so
he's like,
said,
I'm almost dead. I'm almost 100 now because I give you 5 years. I give you 5 years. I give you 5 years.
No. He gave 5 to his. No, he has it down. No joke. He said he's really 91 or 90 something because he gave the years away to keep his mother another 5 years, which he did, to keep his dad another period of time, and now to keep Lita. He just keeps making these trades with God.
I think we all negotiate with God.
Oh, yeah.
So it's kind of funny.
But I think, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know that the euphoric feeling that we are having right now is a much better attraction point for what we want.
That's why I said, what's the downside?
And so I know, I believe in the laws of attraction. So I know that we're attracting better energy and better solutions, improvements, and all of that. So, and she's happier and she's having quality time. So I don't know what's going to happen. All I know is Gabby and Patty were already like, when are we doing another session? Amen. And I was like, okay.
No, we need to get in there again.
Yeah. And listen, it might seem fruity, but I'll tell you, when I was in there, and I told Kelsey to cut that part out of the video because I'm like, I don't want to take away from people's entry level into this, right? So now I've been in this a little longer than a lot of people. So when John Amaral teaches me, like, when you feel a pain, he's like, go inside. And I'm like, wait, how do I go inside? He's like, just feel it and go in. So like when I was doing it with my mom, I was melting my hand through her cranium, like through her skull and going in. Then I'm like, ooh, I see some stuff in here. And I was like, okay, I just instantly, my intuition was to delete it with my finger, like on a computer, right? Like I was deleting cancer cells with my finger. And then I'm like, oh shit, there's stuff around here. And I was deleting. And then I thought I was done. And then I found more stuff. And this sounds insane, So it's hard for me to share that, but I'm sharing it with you guys because you're the Heal Squad. It's harder to share on Instagram.
Yeah.
And I did all of that. And when I felt around her skull, it felt like the picture I kept seeing was just gray matter. And so when you're seeing just gray matter now, and I'm not creating that image, it came to me. I was like, well, maybe it's gone. I don't know.
So,
Hawaii 5-0, Kevin.
Kevin's raising his hand.
well, I have a question for you, and I don't want to put you on the spot, but if similar to the question I asked before about, how do you find a doctor? If I am with a sick person and I don't have the financial means, I don't have access to your healers, can you start out ground zero, or is that another episode to figure it out?
I think that the best way to start is to start reading some of this stuff and listening to these shows. So we have episodes with John Amaral where he discusses how he does this and how you can do it. We have episodes with Dr. Joe Dispenza. We have episodes with Patty Penn. In our Patreon, we just did a heart chakra opening with Cindy Dale where you get to feel how to deal with the chakras. And the chakras are so important, right? You want to unblock all of them for like a healthy flow, a healthy like life force flow.
And we have an extra Patreon episode with John too. Our little.
Oh, that's right. Did we post that yet?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. Okay, so
It was like an impromptu.
yeah, John was over the house working on my ROM around Christmas time, and he, we just plopped him on the couch and started talking to him about
great.
it. And reading Dr. Joe Dispenza's book, You Are the Placebo, and reading Hands of Light. So that's a book that that Andre Seltzer, another healer, taught me about, because he's like, I think you're a healer. You need to like really look into this. And that one can kind of go into some of the science behind it and the physics, the quantum physics, right? That's involved. So like it talks about how, and this like blew my mind in the book, how before a leaf forms, like a leaf in a tree, it projects out first, right?
The outline of the leaf.
The outline of the leaf projects out, and then the leaf grows into the projection. Guys, we don't know anything.
No.
Like, if we studied some of this stuff and really understood the laws of the universe and physics and science.
Kelsey knows, and I know how to selfie, right? Kelsey,
know how to
tell
TikTok?
her.
Yeah.
We know how to TikTok. No, also, like, we know how to Photoshop. A little, right?
So not really.
But we'll go with a lot of the filters. Sorry, back me up here, Maria, saying we don't know anything.
Boo, you don't
So
actually know how to
rude.
do that stuff truthfully.
No, I don't even know that. That's how lame I am. I don't even know that.
Kevin's like Photoshop. I'm like, no.
You know how to do Hawaii 5-0
step is
backgrounds.
obviously TikTok.
What is
TikTok.
it?
The 10th step is obviously knowing how to TikTok.
Yeah, of course. But I think the best thing you can do is you can follow our journey as I'm sharing it. And like I'm showing you videos on my Instagram of how I helped release her bladder. I just did it on my own. I just envisioned healthy kidneys working, everything flowing through. I asked for her guides and, God to help me release it. You can do your version, but it really helps to have some background that you've studied and read. And it doesn't take a lot of work to do that, and then get going and try it and test it. But I was doing it years ago. Kev, do you remember there was a woman at work whose
You did
husband...
it with your Uncle Nick. You went in and you saw it. You said, oh my God, Kevin, I see tumors. I see.
Yeah.
So you were doing it.
I was doing it before, and even there was a woman, remember you found me in the room, and I like for 2 hours, I sat by my bed and I really focused, and I was shrinking and shrinking and
You said it
shrinking
was
this
like
person's
your
tumor.
Someone at work.
Yeah.
Spouse.
Oh.
And then we heard right after, like, so you can do it on your own. Just, you have to envision whatever it is getting better. And so.
That girl could have, she could have still been there, I think.
No, another person.
Another person.
Yeah. So anyway.
Here's what I'd like to suggest, Maria, is I think is another.
Like you taught yourself, Kev. I
Yeah.
mean, you did have a woman at the dog
there's
store.
a dog at the dog food store. She was just how people come into your life. And she saw Noelle, and she was crippled.
Noelle was our other poodle.
Yeah, and someone gave me a comment like, it's like almost like it's time. You need to, like, someone said something like that to me, and I'm like, would you kill your handicapped child? And I said, give me a kiss, give Daddy a kiss, and she of course gave me all the kisses. And so
she was
the lady who
quadriplegic.
worked there said, I can obviously see, you are, not like everyone here. So I'm going to pull you aside and tell you everything about Reiki. Look at it when he rolls over.
When he rolled over for belly rubs.
Hi, good girl.
You little bitch, Whitty.
But she was the one who demystified Reiki to me. She's like, "What? It's no big deal. This is all it is." But what I think, and this is a plug for Patreon, but I think, Maria, you need to do a Patreon episode, probably not in studio, probably, I think, where you take Kelsey and me and maybe a couple of other friends, as diverse as we can get, and we go into your mom's room and take us through the process, Maria, because I think that everyone has 2 or 3 or 4 people that love them enough and want to see them get better. They just don't know. And I feel like if you can do a Patreon where you show us the steps to get it started, because I still think that you could, when someone's hit with this kind of diagnosis, you're on the clock.
Yeah.
It's down to like minutes and days how fast a disease can spread, right? So first step is, the diet. Yes, boom. Second is get with some kind of psychologist or therapist to get the anger out and the emotions. Then the third is start working on this stuff. But I think, Maria, you need to do a Patreon where you teach us how regular people.
Yeah. I think we can do that with Patty. I think that'd be a great Patreon.
And Patty
with Patty
could teach us I think people need that, because I think people have the people in their lives that want to help, but they don't know where to start.
Yeah. Well, and Maria, I have a question for you, because obviously you're dealing with cancers, but what about okay, I got my stomach shit.
It's the same thing.
Everything.
Yeah, so I would love that, because I don't even know. I think I know that I can do it.
Kelsey?
But Kelsey, for you have all these gut issues, right? And flow issues.
Flow issues, right.
To me, all just my basic thing would be you'd probably have to deal with the chakras behind those places, right? And opening those up, and you can use what we learned in the Patreon with Cindy Dale to open those chakras up, go inside the donut, as she said.
Yeah.
Take that light and then bring it around the circle, and until you feel like it's cleared and healed. And then what I would do is I would envision the different organs, and I would feel them, how they feel now. And then I would work with them till they felt good. Send, emerald light, green light in there to heal it. I would, envision perfectly working, systems, right? Like I did with my mom. It was her kidneys. I'm like, okay, I got my green check marks on the kidneys. Okay, now take those tubes down, get down to the bladder. Okay, oh, bladder, beautiful, perfect. Now it's going to go out the external catheter and into the bucket. And I would just do that process, and everything was flowing like a perfect conveyor belt of stuff. So you have to do that with your own stuff, because you're so disconnected. You're just oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
You suck. I hate you. You're causing me so many problems. Instead of being sending it, love and good energy and saying, I'm here to protect you. I'm here to help you, talking to it. That would be my gut.
No, I love that, because I think a lot of people, I think it's safe to say that everyone has something, right?
Yeah.
Something they're dealing with, whether it's doesn't have to be cancer, right? But you can
diabetes.
do this.
You can work on your pancreas. Get your pancreas working. Think of all the little cells in there as little worker bees, and be hey, you guys all fell asleep, but let's get back to it, right?
Yeah.
I had somebody teach me a long time ago to go to bed at night, and I forgot it, and I should use it now, because sleep is not great. But I would.
May I suggest Dr. Oz's tips?
Although I went to bed early because of Dr. Oz last night, and boy, do I feel better.
Good.
And I drugged myself. I ate an entire CBD gummy from the Altwell package. I think they're 25 milligrams.
Which, you guys, you can get 25% off your first Altwell purchase through, if you click the link on our bio. Just a little plug.
Yeah, I normally nibble a quarter of it or half of it. I took the whole thing down. Anyhow, they said to imagine your cells, telling all of your cells in your body, guys, you can go to sleep now. It's time to rest. You don't need to do any work. Just shut it down. So to me, if there's an organ in your body that's not working, my first instinct was thinking of little minions working in there.
I love
right?
the minions.
And they're all sleeping. And I'm like, you lazy asses, get up. Let's go. Start working. Make this shit happen. And then just imagining wheels that haven't turned and turning them and getting everything working in there. Like imagine all those cells as wheels that start turning and those little minions are moving them. I don't know. This is the shit that I would do.
No, I love
but
it.
It's just in my head.
When you said that, it reminded me, my mom, when I couldn't remember something, she used to tell me she pictures Daffy Duck up there in her brain going through files.
Quack, quack.
Yeah. It's like, oh, that's Dusty. Come on, Daffy, you can find it.
Yeah.
Like, so that's what that made me think of.
Yeah.
Like, we all have the power.
What I find interesting about all this is that, like, for me, who's very not spiritual, so I'm kind of breaking rule. What is it? Rule 8?
1 through 9.
Deepening my spiritual connection. I think it's really cool though, because, you know, most of our bodily motions are subconscious. Like, you know, you can repair your liver cells. You have the ability to make new cells. You have these abilities in your body. You just can't consciously do them. You can't make your heart beat consciously. But I feel like possibly there's some communication between your conscious and subconscious where you focus on those things and it might just kick it into high gear. And I definitely think that thinking negatively towards those things is probably not the best healing method. To speak to Kelsey hating her stomach, you know,
her.
if you're telling your subconscious, I hate you, then it's probably just going to attack it more.
True.
We don't know what our subconscious controls on a bodily level. So if we can find these instances of it working, I mean, you got to try everything, right?
Listen, I'm throwing every Hail Mary I can.
I think you'd start out with all the kitchen sink stuff, and then you start paring down to what works.
Yeah.
Is how it goes.
So that is that. I hope it's helpful to you guys. And if it is, help us by sharing this episode with people who need to hear this, who need to know about radical remission, who need to know that miracles are possible, who need to have hope, who need a little help in their journey, because that's who I'm trying to reach. I'm trying to reach you who needs it, who is inconsolable, who is on their knees, because I've been there. I get it. I know that feeling. And there's another way. And it's not always going to yield the results you want, but it will make your journey and their journey better. And you're more than likely to attract better outcomes by believing and believing in your abilities more than you have. So,
and I want to just quickly, Maria, I want to thank you, because I know that so many people, we get so many comments, but not a lot of people talk about this. And even, I don't know, even when they do talk about it, they don't go into the detail you go into. So I want to thank you. I've learned a lot through you, but I know that everyone listening is so, so appreciative. And it's just like, it's so cool. And it's really awesome that you're taking us like on this journey with you. So
thanks.
I'm appreciative.
Thanks,
Maria, what are your 3 biggest takeaways from Radical Remission, the book? Like, I know we have 9 steps, but what are like the 3 things that you walked away from that and you were like, I'm going to hold these with me the rest of my life?
First, that it's possible when you get a stage 4 diagnosis, that it's possible to have a radical remission and to beat the odds and to beat what the medical community believes is possible. And 2, that there is hope and that miracles are possible. For me, that's the biggest thing, is when you see it, you can be it. And that's why I really wanted to share this, because it is on I have a document in my Dropbox, like brain tumor guide. And this is on my suggested reading list, because I need people who are newly diagnosed instantly to know that they have hope. And because the first thing that you think is the worst. And I think that, for me, my goal is to get you to think the best. So
I love it.
That's it, guys. If you haven't already subscribed to Patreon, let me tell you a little bit about it. Obviously, we are here every single day with you, but over there it is an ad-free space. So you get ad-free shows, you get an extra show. You also get access at the $10 level, $10 a month. We'll get you all of that, plus the healing workshops that we continue to schedule with our amazing guests that we have on the show. So you have intimate exclusive access to the best of the best in the world. And it's our Super Heal Squad. And we're all engaging and we're all building relationships. my most fun night of the month to be with everybody and to get to have that that intimacy with everyone, that one-on-one, that connection. And if I know we have one coming up in March.
I'm working with Deirdre Hayde.
Yes.
So figuring out a day.
Oh my God. If you haven't listened to our episodes with Deirdre Hayde, they are some of our most popular episodes.
So excited.
She is incredible. And then also, Patreon helps us keep the lights on. We are trying to experiment with some ads on the show. So, if you see some new ads popping up, know I'm only bringing on people that I believe in, that I've used. And we're trying to keep the lights on, basically. So your support in entertaining these ads is important. And then if you choose not to, want them, you have the option of coming over to Patreon. But even joining us on Patreon is a huge help for us because, we are doing this every single day and there is a cost to that. And we want to be able to continue to bring you all this amazing content. So you can support us either way. Support us watching The Daily Show and, know that the ads that are there are ads for things that can be useful to you in your life. And then you can support us otherwise on the Patreon as well. If you haven't already left us a comment on Apple Podcasts, please share with us how this show is entertaining you or helping you. We love them. We read them every week, and they just give us so much life. And if this show is something that you love and is helping you, please share it with friends. Word of mouth is the only way that we are going to get this show to more people. And with that, we can serve more people and help more people. And we really need your help with that too. So if you could share it with your friends on social, your email list, whatever it is, we would be forever grateful. In the meantime, you can follow us at Better Together with Maria, at Stephen Lemieux Photo, at Kelsmeyer2. Oh,
And Maria,
at Princess Winnie.
I have a question.
Yes, honey. Oh gosh, here it comes.
I know.
Here it comes.
Now listen.
I'm gonna pee my pants.
We are overwhelmed and humbled by the support we're receiving.
Am I going on
for
my phone
regular
right now?
Guy Fridays.
Oh my God, Andre Seltzer texted me in the middle of this. How funny.
That's funny.
We're talking about him.
And what did he say about regular Guy Friday?
He did not say anything about regular Guy Fridays.
Okay, no, that'll be his follow-up.
Should we get him on?
Yeah, let's get him on. But now, Maria, you know what? I'm getting a lot of questions about Potluck Saturday.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
There's
Kelsey's
just
like, I have to do another show?
there's a wonderful.
Poor Kelsey.
Can we mention the name of the book that was pitched to us?
I think we should leave that on a little teaser. I don't know if we
Honey,
could do that.
Potluck Saturdays?
It's not really Better Together per se.
Right.
Oh my God.
But
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God, I think I know what you're
maybe
talking
it's a
about.
Potluck Saturday interview. I don't know.
I'm kind
Honey.
of I'm into
And
it.
by the way, if we do that, is that a Patreon
Whoa.
or is that a
I
freaking
think
way?
it is. I think if people want to know how to book title,
Yeah, book title.
Guys.
Yeah, it was, got
Can
me
you just
thinking.
stick to regular Guy Friday? I
Maria,
greenlit
it's-
regular Guy Friday. Actually, I didn't. He just did it.
I was gonna
and
say,
now I'm
wow.
stuck with it. No, I'm just kidding. You guys loved it, I know. And it's actually really cool because I actually am looking forward to regular Guy Fridays just for my own amusement because Keven is super fucking funny. I've been with him for over 2 decades and he still makes me laugh. So, and he does have a lot of really great advice. Actually, even better than me, I think.
And there's just so much spilling over that it's got to go into Potluck Saturday.
Oh my God.
We just have a lot of people who want to talk to us, Maria, and I don't think that necessarily you may not want to talk to some of them. Some of these authors
I
that are
talk to
pitching
him
us.
some of I don't need any more of him.
oh my God,
No,
Kevin,
no, some of our
Potluck
authors.
Saturday, bring your dish to the table.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Potluck Saturday, bring your dish to the table.
Oh my God.
I am going to pee
Listen,
my
I
pants.
follow Better
Oh, it's
Together.
'cause
and
I
all
had
of-
so much coffee.
And all of this is about manifestation.
Guys,
Right?
I'm so
you
glad.
taught us this, Maria. You put it out there, you manifest.
Oh,
and
you
boom.
manifested.
Yeah.
You manifested.
I learned it all from you.
Thank you, honey. I'm so glad my lessons have penetrated.
Oh my God.
Osmosis has just occurred.
But really, tune into regular Guy Friday this Friday.
What are you
gonna
guys
be a
talking
good
about
one.
this Friday? Have you figured it out yet?
I have
TBD.
Yeah, TBD. I have some things, some pretty good tips. for the regular guys and gals.
Regular guys and gals.
Yeah.
That's right.
And it all, and I like to process everything you teach us here, because then we go a little deeper on regular guy Fridays.
All right. Guys,
Will you be
you know the
tuning in?
drill. We'll see. We'll see. Okay. You know the drill. Be nice people. I started the day not even being able to formulate sentences, and this coffee has made me so high. Coffee really helps my
It's
life.
a drug, Maria.
Oh my
if
Lord,
you Google it,
Kevin! I was slurring my words this morning. I was using back ends of the front ends. I was like, Kelsey, I can't talk.
Do you know what the term? There's a phrase.
My eyeballs are super
coffee.
wide open. I can't believe this isn't the cold brew.
You know
right
what
now.
they call it? Cocaine for the brain.
Yeah, I love cocaine for the brain. Thank you, Duncan. Yeah, I'm very excited about how I feel right now. Thank you,
happy.
iced coffee.
Thank you, iced coffee.
Thank you, iced coffee. And thank you, Heal Squad. We love you. Be nice people, make good choices, and be present.
This podcast and all related content published or distributed by or on behalf of Maria Menounos or mariamenounos.com is for informational purposes only and may include information that is general in nature and that is not specific to you. Any information or opinions expressed or contained herein are not intended to serve as or replace medical advice, nor to diagnose, prescribe, or treat any disease, condition, illness, or injury, and you should consult the healthcare professional of your choice regarding all matters concerning your health, including before beginning any exercise, weight loss, or healthcare program. If you have or suspect you may have a healthcare emergency, please contact a qualified healthcare professional for treatment. Any information or opinions provided by a guest expert or host featured within website or on company's podcast are their own, not those of Maria Menounos or the company. Accordingly, Maria Menounos and the company cannot be responsible for any results or consequences or actions you may take based on information or opinions.